Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn and Hunter here, and thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court, where we are talking about the RWBY characters that we hate and love. Specifically, Hunter, because I already did mine. Go watch that. So this is kind of like a part 2 Electric Boogaloo type situation, okay? So we're going to start from the bottom. I have opinions. I'm already happy because it's spoilers for the video that was my part, but I put Cobalt and Ivory down there too. But I have questions about Ren and why Hunter hates Ren, so why don't we just start here first of all, who the fuck is this? Isn't this the guy at the train station? Why did you put like so many irrelevant, like we have team like Cardinal, train station fan? Okay,
I just hate
you do hate them. Okay, that's valid if you hate them.
I dislike, because there's just nothing to like about them.
Okay.
Other than, at least with Cardin, I do like the guy who voiced him.
Okay.
He's a fairly prominent person in our team, yet for some reason I can't remember his name.
Okay, but let's talk about Ren, because that's the one that I was like, what the fuck? Why does Hunter hate Ren? What happened? I don't remember this when we watched RWBY Volume 8. Is this your controversial pick to stir up the drama, Hunter? What is this?
No, I think that might have been a mistake.
Wait, what? It's not real. Where was Ren supposed to go?
Probably in the like.
Oh, okay.
So I think I may have put him there accidentally.
Damn, Hunter making fake discourse. I love it. I've taught you so well. Anyway, so Ren is not supposed to be there, everyone. Please, please mentally...
Can we pretend, like, let's try to think of a reason why we don't like him.
Let's mentally move Ren because he was an asshole to Nora.
Exactly.
Or something.
And Nora deserves
some people do think that.
more respect.
Cobalt and Ivory, I mean, if you watched my opinion, is yours the same? Do we even need to ask?
Yeah, they're just such a nothing of a character, and I
they're
think
so ugly.
The reason I should also explain that my logic here is holistic.
What do you mean?
So, like, it's like, do I personally like the character? And do I...
Does the character serve the show?
Yes.
Basically.
And, like, are they, like, I could hate them as a character, but I think they say something interesting.
Right.
And so I like them more.
Right.
That counts.
Where I was more thinking about, like, you know, if I can stand you being on screen.
So, like, a really bad person... Who,
like Jacques, who is in the like category, which is fair, again.
But like, who I still think has interesting things about him, I will put in the like.
Right.
Whereas a character who I really want to love, but who just doesn't have enough in show to make me love them, I will put them lower. And to relate to that, which is why I put Sienna Khan in dislike.
Yeah, so let's go up to dislike now, because I think...
Because dislike is where I think my spicy takes are, is that I really loved her. I loved her so much. I think she is so cool.
You hate what they did to her.
I think she, like, her design is probably my favorite in the entirety of RWBY. I love Monica Rial as a voice actress. I love her character of like a kind of like badass revolutionary. I think she's so cool, but they fucking did her so dirty.
I know.
They introduce her and then she's murdered.
And so that's what I thought, because I love Sienna, but I hate what they did. Like, if I did a writing tier list, Sienna would definitely, like, she'd be in there. She'd be in there for sure. Vine is dead. That's interesting.
I feel like they tried to make Vine matter.
Yeah.
But Vine doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He was.
Do you hate that he doesn't matter even though he died?
I feel like of all he was like the least interesting of the Aesops, and he's the one that they killed, and they tried to make this big dramatic thing.
Right, but nobody cares about him.
But like, no one cares about him because he's like a nothing of a character.
Is Vernal sort of in the same boat then, where she died for Raven, but
that's another thing, is that I love Vernal. I think she's like mean. I love her design. I love her voice act. Her weapon's super cool. I love her so much. I wrote a fan fiction for you in which she makes is a semi-prominent character in the early thing of it. She does absolutely nothing in the show.
Yeah.
She's basically just a red herring.
Yeah.
About you think she's the maiden, but she's not.
A live red herring, basically. Yeah. You know, like she's a plot device with legs.
Which is a shame, because I think she's so cool and I want her to do cool shit. And I feel the same way about the Malachite twins.
Even the book didn't improve your opinion?
The book improved them I forgot about the book. The book improved them a little bit, but I do think they're just bratty kids.
Yeah.
And then Marigold is there's nothing to like. The only interesting thing about him is his relation to May.
Yeah, that is true. And like setting that up a little bit.
And just setting that up. And I understand that May would be less impactful if there weren't like Henry to begin with. So I add that's the only reason why he's probably not in hate, that I have nothing but like apathy for him. So speaking of apathy,
let's talk about neutral, because I told you not to make a neutral. I said if it's neutral, take them out. Like if you don't have a strong opinion, get rid of them.
I took out a lot of people I was really neutral. But the thing is,
that's what I should have mentioned in my video too. Like if you're like, where is Saffron and Tara? It's like I just felt neutral about them. I didn't have a strong opinion.
Some of these people who I think are really cool in theory. Like I think Myth Malachite is cool in theory and was made more cool by the books. Yeah. I like the rest of Team Sun.
I was just ribbing you a little.
Yeah,
You're allowed to have the potential.
I like the kind of Beacon teachers. I like Old Man as just a background gag.
Yeah, like
I like Flint. I think Flint should be maybe higher up the list.
Yeah.
But it's the one of the thing where I think he's
Hunter's
really cool.
like self-editing this.
I think he's really cool, but it's like that show stuff. They just don't do enough with him.
Right,
and so
of course.
that bumped him down. I feel the same way about the Belladonnas.
Scarlet and Sage got nothing in the book. In fact, they were kind of fucking annoying in the book.
I don't even know which
one.
I don't know which one's Finnick and which one's Corsic, which I think they would be cool characters. But like they just did nothing
super unnecessary. We didn't need them. It could have just been Ilya.
I really love the Hound as like a villain. I think they're terrifying.
Yeah. Don't you wish that the warrior in the woods was in there? If the warrior in the woods was in there, that would have been so impactful because we knew her. You know what I mean? We knew the warrior in the woods. If you read the book, it would have been a nice Easter egg.
I love her, and maybe I should have put the gods in neutral or put him up to like, but I just feel like he's not really a character, so it doesn't really count, but I think he's pretty cool. Adam, he's just such a shitbag, and I hate how people like him. I feel like he is to relate this to like Rick and Morty. I feel like Adam's the Rick Sanchez of RWBY, where people like him but they shouldn't, and they like him for the wrong reasons. Because I think he's like this petulant child who doesn't know how to
that's not what people want.
Yeah, but that like doesn't know how to regulate his emotions. He's like an abusive, creepy asshole.
Yeah.
The Adam trailer, I think, was my favorite RWBY trailer they ever made. It did like wonders for his character. His whole fight scene with Blake and then later Blake and Yang in volume 6.
Oh, okay.
Was really good. Just how creepy, stalker, horrible ex-boyfriend he is. Yeah. It works really well. It almost works too well because I hate his fucking guts, I have to knock him down.
There's definitely also something to say where like Adam is supposed to be like part of the White Fang, but like for the White Fang story, I do think it's kind of a little sus.
And the White Fang storyline was never great. It was stuff
they did with Adam was a little sus. So I do understand why people want to.
And I feel like I would be more generous to him and his relationship to like the politics of creating like basically a revolutionary for a maligned underclass of people if they did Sienna better, but they didn't do Sienna better. Yeah. And he killed Sienna, and I can't let that slide. So I'm really stuck, and I was like, well, I think he's really great as like this petulant boyfriend who goes from like this person.
Sometimes I wish that Adam and Adam were separated into two characters, where the morally gray, human rightsy, weird genocide Adam was one character, and then like the boyfriend Adam,
which I feel like that's what Ilya should have been.
Adam could have been the boyfriend, and then Ilya could have been more of the human. I don't know. I don't even want to call it human rights because Adam's also like faunist supremacy. But like, there's a whole thing. The White Thing.
I admit textually, I find it really interesting that just as Blake was like, this guy's really cool and really strong, and I want to be with him.
The audience has been gaslit.
Like the audience kind of was gaslit in the same way, and I almost really enjoy it. The only thing is that some people maintain the relationship with him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And so I feel I hate him, but I love him, so I have to put him in.
I feel like we can make a whole Adam video of like
and
the
we
nuances of Adam and the problems with Adam and how they bungled the White Fang and like how Adam may reflect badly on the human right or the faunist right subplot situation. But anyway, let's move on.
Moving on to characters that I like.
Right.
I'm surprised
the God of light is over the god of darkness.
I feel like I just kind of slapped them in there.
Right,
but I thought
this
they were
is not
interesting.
the order as intended, basically.
Well, kind of, because like Ilya is my favorite out of all of these.
Right.
Even though Ilya is the same thing, it's just like she would be my love or my favorite, but the show just didn't give her enough.
Right.
Like, I think she's cool. I just don't think she has enough really great, impactful moments.
I have to point out a couple things, okay? First of all, why is Yatsuhashi like before Tai Yang, who has like zero personality?
I guess I just
can't. First of all, let me point out everything wrong with this, and then Hunter can respond.
Okay,
wrong
sure,
in my
that's
opinion.
fine.
Okay, I'm gonna roast you a little.
That's fine.
Why is Yatsuhashi there and Willow over there? Why and Glinda over there?
Okay.
Why is Roman somehow in there when Clover's over and Rhodes is over there? And everything else I think is like, fine, it's whatever. That's Hunter's opinion.
Okay.
But the fact that Yasuhashi didn't make it enough over fucking Rhodes, how did this and Roman over Rhodes, how did this happen?
Okay.
I can make an argument for Tyrion being better than Roman or Tyrion being better than Yatsuhashi, but Clover? No, I can't do this. I don't understand. Please explain. I need an explanation.
With Yatsuhashi being behind certain people, I feel like after a while there's just kind of a bit of a malaise. Like, it's not that I like...
Right.
It's not that I even like...
It's hard to tell who you like over who.
Yeah,
right?
It's like... But I also feel like now...
But still Hunter.
Once again, I wrote that fan fiction and Yatsuhashi plays a prominent role and he's a very, like, out of character. So when I imagine Yatsuhashi, I imagine him have, like, a hardcore cinnamon roll, which he kind of is in the books, but not to the extent that I write him. So I had to acknowledge that, like, okay, you love him, but you don't like that. But this isn't.
You love him, but you love your idea of him.
My ideal version of him more.
Show.
It's the same way that I feel with Ilya. It's the same way that I feel like.
But Ilya made it up there, bro.
But yeah, but like
Yatsuhashi.
I really. But Yatsuhashi was a little bit, because I am a little more, even like out of the characters in those Team Coffee books, I did like Fox and I did like Velvet and I did like Coco more.
Okay.
Yatsuhashi, if I had to cut one of them, I love them more.
Let's talk about Roman, because
Roman.
I wholeheartedly disagree.
So like, I like Roman. I like him a lot in those things. I feel like those first, I feel like perhaps he should, like, the middle of that list is a bit of a malaise where people aren't, because like I don't like Harriet more than I don't like Harriet more than I like Roman. I like Roman more.
Exactly.
Frankly,
I don't know what
I like Roman more than I like Pietro. I do like Rhodes more than I like Roman.
Really?
Not that Rhodes
I don't understand.
Okay, so not that Roman is a better character than Rhodes. Like, he's more enjoyable. I liked his story more, but I just love what Rhodes represents.
Okay.
Is that because
very metaphorical.
Because my controversial RWBY take is that I quite like
Cinder's backstory. Yeah.
And I like the character. He works really great as a metaphor for like the establishment.
Right.
And so that as an establishment,
we live in a society.
He's not going to actually solve the problems in ways that are transgressive. He's not going to break Cinder out from like the abusive clutches of Madame.
Because that's what he represents.
Because at the end of the day, he supports that system.
Right.
He only lets people operate within the system. You will allow the worst things in the world so long as it's a part of the system that you have bought into.
Sure.
Because he has bought into that system. The right thing to do would be to break Cinder out, but he would never do that. So instead he's like, no, work with the system. Be abused, but stay up late and try to fight. And so eventually you can get in a
I see
huntsman.
what you mean.
And so I think he's just really interesting. They like the system, and they want you to work with this in the system, even if the system is unfair, even if it's killing you.
I do understand that.
And so that's why I like him a lot.
It's a very abstract way, especially because I'm assuming Clover and Harriet sort of the same thing.
Yes, I love Clover a lot because he's a fucking sellout.
But
and I think he's really
I can't get behind this. I understand your perspective,
yes.
but in terms of liking them,
That's why I preference this with the whole I'm taking like a holistic approach to these characters.
Because if I did like a writing list, it would be probably completely different. If you guys are interested in that, at least for me doing it, because yours is sort of a mix a doodle of like multiple of like both of them. But like yeah, I understand what you mean. I just have contempt.
Because like I like Clover and I like Rhodes in very different ways than I like like Saffron and Terracotta. I just think they're fucking adorable and I just want them to live like their happy domestic life.
Of course.
I just think that Talk was really cool.
That's why
I just think that Tyrion's really scary.
I have contempt for it, though I understand.
Yes.
Right.
And it's the same way that I like, that same reason why I like Weiss's mom is that she's not a good person.
Yeah.
She watched her children be abused for a very long time, but she's kind of if you're familiar.
Like a representation.
If you're familiar with people who come from abusive situations, you realize that sometimes people especially they
perpetuate the cycle.
They perpetuate the cycle, but try to find ways to fight it, and that children end up, or other people in there tend to lash out at each other, and not the actual abuser. In this case, Jacques, who's also there, who I think is a very interesting character as how he models that. I don't think I like him as a character. He's a terrible person, and I only enjoy him when he's being humiliated. Yeah. Right? And then there's Maria, who's just like, I just like how sassy she is. Yeah. I just think she's great, and I feel the same way.
Post Tyrion is where we get back on the track of liking, I guess, as a person. Whereas like the middle area is a bit of like a bit of a malaise. Because like Oscar, I just think he's really neat character. I love Jean and Sun, how they've been updated. Yes. Recently, because Jean's just a funny, goofy guy, and he's. I'm surprised Raven got so high. To be honest,
Raven is kind of in the same realm of Ilya, as that I love them to pieces, but they were just not as much as I have issues with Volume 5. Yeah. And how they handled Raven, I still like her a lot.
Raven's like the best part of a bad volume almost.
Or of like the least good volume.
Yeah.
She was like, and I just want her to come back, and I want her to continue to do stuff, because I think she's like, her nihilism I think is really interesting as a character. I vibe with it very much so.
Fox is funny.
Fox is just great. Fox is wonderful. He's also very prominent in the fanfiction. Gotta love that. You can't not love, like, you can't not love Robin Hill. You can't not love Nora. I love Nora way more now than I did, I think, earlier before.
I'm surprised that Nora is behind Robin, but I understand again. It's hard to like,
that's
do
like
that.
Once again, it's like there's almost like groupings. Like,
right. I mean, that's
Pietro, like Marrow, I just love because Marrow and Harriet, I love because they're like they're a kind clover, of symbols of they're a clover that didn't totally drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah. That there's a like especially Marrow as like a kind of double consciousness between being a faunist and being a member of like Atlas military, and his conversations with Blake I find very interesting. For sure. And I feel like he would be really cool to have his own story. And Watts is just amazing. He's just so much fun. Everyone else I think are fairly explanatory. Okay, so why don't we move on to the love list, which, damn, Yang got so high up here compared to even RWBY. I wasn't expecting that either, to be honest. Boy. So I guess I have to, like, I really like Yang as a character. Well, let's start with Fiona first and work our way up. Let's go from that Fiona, she doesn't really do shit. Right. Other than kind of look cool and like fight. Cute. And she cries that one time and she just looks adorable. And then I like to imagine that there's that one scene where Robin's talking about a fight that one of her friends and she surprised all these people by kicking this other person's
maybe to
ass.
Crow? I don't remember this,
Crow,
but
or to someone in the prison.
For it, that this wasn't a fanfic.
No, it definitely happened. She just talked about it briefly, and it cuts to, and you don't know who she's talking to. I like to imagine she's talking about Fiona, and that Fiona just kicks ass, real hard. She's like the Wooloo of people. She's just so wonderful, and I love her so much. Velvet? I loved her in the books. Yeah. I feel like what puts her above Fox, who I also really loved in the books, was that I've been a long-term fan of Velvet. Right, because she actually had screen time. Because she had screen time. It makes sense. The fan fiction was always a big part. So I was my own personal deep, I'm a newcomer to loving Fox, but I've always loved. Right. Velvet has always had a place in your heart. She's always been wonderful. I always thought she was a really cool character and underutilized. But now that with the books, she's like well utilized, and I really love her in the books.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not love Winter? Winter was pretty high for you as well. You put her in.
I know. I'm going through them for the audience. They gotta know.
Because she's just great. I think she's also like kind of at war with herself over her place as a Schnee, and then trying to get out of the boot of being a Schnee
Ironwood
to the
too.
Atlas military, and then realizing that's a whole other boot.
Yeah.
Her trying to be a good older sister to Weiss.
Trading one cage for another. That's how I feel like Winter is.
And I think she's just cool, and I love how like I love her voice actress. I love how like snappy she is. I love her relationship with Crow. They hate each other.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
I know.
It's just she's wonderful. Yeah, she's
Salem.
How could you not? She's just so cool. She's terrifying. She's really fucking scary, but she's also. I remember before Volume 4 was released, and we see Salem for the first time at the
and
end of
everyone
Volume 3.
like freaked
Everyone
the fuck
was
out.
like, "Oh my god, she's a nightmare, horrible, terrible human being. She's gonna be awful." All the fan fiction.
And then you just see her
eating
like
babies.
ooh eyes when she has her
then,
kids for the first.
and then she shows up and she's a mom, and it's like, this is amazing. She's a mom. But then at the end of Volume 5, she like you see the Emerald's vision of her, and she's like crackling and unfurling, and she's terrifying. And then you see her.
She definitely has a lot of depth in that.
Yeah,
way.
and then you see her in the Lost Fairy Tale and the Lost Fable, and it's amazing. It's my favorite episode of RWBY, I think, still. And then you see her in Volume 7 and 8, and she's just so in control and powerful. And God, I love her so much. She's just really has it all. Some people don't like the villains in RWBY, as you will come to see. I really love the villains in RWBY, and I love Salem so much.
All right.
She's great. And then Crow, how can you not love our boy?
Yeah.
He's our boy. He's just, he's trying to get better. I like that his getting better is not like what I like. I dislike characters that it's just like they're sad and that everything's okay afterwards.
Right.
What I like
He's still going through.
What I like about Crow is that like getting better for him is not like a straight path. It's very weaving, and there's some ups and some downs, and it's very interesting. I love the voice performance, which is the new guy. The new guy is great. As a character, I think he's fun. He's had really great fight scenes. But Coco's just great. She's so cool. She's always been so cool, even when she had zero screen time.
And now she's cool.
And now she's
gay.
Amazing. And she's gay. And like, how could you not? The gayness as we go higher is like palpable.
It is true. That is true. I have noticed that.
My biases are prominent. I love Ozpin. I love how tortured he is.
Yeah, I kind of not forgot about Ozpin, but when I was making my list, I kind of considered Oscar to be like Ozpin plus when I ranked him.
I feel like Ozpin and
when
Oscar.
I saw that Ozpin, I was thinking of that Ozpin.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha.
But yeah, I totally agree with you.
But at War, and you get the impression that he doesn't want to do this, but he has to. Like I just find him very compelling. RWBY and Yang, I know might be controversial because people say RWBY's very bland, but I just love.
That's how I feel.
I love Lindsay Jones' performance.
That's
I love
true.
them as a voice performer. I love how bubbly she is. I love how she has that kind of range where she can be like very sad but very determined, but then give up and be
that's
funny.
true.
And then I think she has. I don't know. She's just kind of. She's not Hope in that she's much like Crow, that she's like unflappable, but she keeps going, and I think that's really remarkable
and like compelling
and admirable and compelling, and I think she just looks cool and does cool shit.
If I'm looking weird, it's because I'm just staring. I'm just looking at Yang. I'm still thinking.
I'm sorry, but I don't
get it, especially not compared to some of the other ones.
I really like Yang.
I think Salem and Winter are better than Yang. I don't know.
And you know what? That's fair, because I feel like sans maybe Fiona, I could you could mess with these.
Right. I'm just saying. Oh boy.
I think she's really cool. You just see her go from very cocky in the early seasons.
It's okay, Hunter. I still love you. It's okay. I'll still accept you. It's fine.
She's very cocky, and then she's like that, but you can see a little bit of trepidation and concern that she's not just a party girl. She's worried and she's deep. And then Volume 3 happens, and she's very traumatized, and she gets better. And it's not always. I love that it's not always a straightforward. She's still dealing with it.
Okay.
And I think she's cool, and she hits stuff. And I love the pun. And I think she's a fun character.
We've Mike Wazowski'd Emerald in a little bit of Cinder.
Which is a shame because
is pretty funny.
she's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I am Cinder problems, clearly, like, you know.
I love it.
But it's okay. Hunter fondly remembers the earlier volumes of Cinder compared to...
I think that she was really cool and controlling, and then you see her kind of shake, and now she's kind of in her unhinged era, and she's going into like her assured of herself again.
Sure.
She's very maniacal. I really controversial take, and we got into that with my feelings about Rhodes, but I do like her background. Our backstory, I think it was very compelling and interesting. I love how she just stabs people in the back. I think she's just very cool, and I love her design, and I love how scary she is, and I think Jessica Negri does an amazing job of voicing her. And I think she just deserves more love, and y'all are haters.
Okay.
And May, for obvious reasons. Listen, I would argue that it's not just because I am trans and I'm putting out for the team. I would argue May is a really cool character.
I think May is better than Cinder. I'll say it, okay?
May has.
I'm using your own list against you. I'm like, no, May is better than Cinder in Emerald.
I also like May better than Fox, so deal with that.
Yeah.
I just think she's very cool. I think her moment in Volume 8 was really special. I really adore that. Even before that, she was just very like cocky and control, and I just love that. I want to be her best friend. Blake and Weiss are my favorite RWBY characters just because I feel like they have
I can accept.
They have the most going on. I think that Weiss is the best out of the, and I guess we share that opinion.
Yes, so at least Hunter and I don't always agree, but we do find common.
I feel like Blake would be higher if she weren't bogged down by how they kind of treated the faunus stuff.
And they also did her so dirty the past couple volumes too.
Yeah, she
like all the activism went into Nora all the time.
Yeah, and she just wasn't as present. And I feel like if there was a character who like lost potential, I feel like all the characters that like had some degree of squandered potential were all the faunus characters. Like it was her, it was maybe Adam,
true.
It was Sienna, it was Ilya. They just didn't quite know, to an extent. Also Neon, because like she's also a faunus, much like Nero in the Atlas military, and you get the impression that they just, as much as I think the faunus characters are some of my favorite characters, and as much as I think it's an interesting conceit, I feel like they didn't quite, the overwhelming like unfortunate scar on RWBY is they didn't know quite how to deal with it.
Yeah. And I have some rewrite ideas, so stay tuned, I guess. But yeah, that's the thing.
And I feel like these two shouldn't have been surprising.
No, I'm not surprised by Weiss at all. I mean, I think Weiss, by a lot of people, was or is I guess, considered the best written RWBY girl, and then just best girl in life, in general.
Because I also love how like she has her funnier moments, she has her goofy moments, she has her serious
just
moments,
has a lot of depth. Like I know that lately,
she's got the range.
I know lately some people have felt like that her potential was squandered in the recent volumes, but like I said before, there's a higher percentage or ratio of good Weiss moments than bad Weiss moments, even if those bad Weiss moments.
But like
exist.
she has the range, and I also feel like they didn't squander it because like she's like making peace with her mother and her brother, and she kicks her dad's ass, and she's like learning to stand. I like that a lot. Like the scene when she kicks the door open.
I guess for me, it's just always been like Weiss's connection to the faunus stuff, which again, Weiss is kind of bogged down by the faunus thing. Like, I don't know, this is going to be a hot take for another video, but I really do wish that they involved Weiss with Adam versus Yang with Adam instead, just to connect Weiss more to stuff and things. And that's a whole other discussion. That's a whole other hot take.
I feel like you would have to agree with my top two. Though,
I do.
Of like you, and I feel like that would be very predictive because like everyone knows I love Neo. She was great in the book. She's amazing in the show. There's not a scene where it is not improved by her addition.
Exactly. I have never been disappointed by Neo.
She's never done anything wrong. Arguably, she's more consistent with Penny. More consistent than Penny.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in volumes 1, 2, and then 3, like I liked Penny.
Yeah.
But I do like her in those early volumes. But her in volume 7 and 8 are so amazing. Like there is not a scene that she is not present in that I don't think is like absolutely great. I just love her so much that she is my favorite character, even if she isn't as consistent as earlier characters. And even though she does deliver the one, and like...
What's the line? that you don't like.
We talked about how May's canonically trans.
Yeah.
And Emerald's pretty fruity, and Neo feels pretty fruity.
Yeah.
We had a video about that.
Yeah, we did.
And as did Penny. And there's a part of me, I love her so much that I even let it slide that she's the one that delivers, "Is she a man?" joke about Blake in like the first season.
Oh, right.
I love her so much. I love her so much that I let that slide.
I see.
And maybe I'm chained to a series, but like, oh my god, I love her so much.
Penny is excused for her past tweets. She apologized. Penny apologized for her tweets from 2010. All right, so I guess Penny's okay.
I still love her. I don't know. I'll sell her out. I don't give a fuck. Maybe I should.
Oh boy. Anyway, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this beautiful tier list from Hunter. Hunter had a lot of opinions, so I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about them. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.